Let's talk a bit about shortcuts. I am now in version 15.2, the latest version of DaVinci Resolve. If you are still in 15.0, this lecture is not for you, but I would recommend that you upgrade to 15.2. It's a bit nicer. If you come to any menu here, for example the trim, you notice that most commands already have an assigned shortcut. Okay, the trim start, shift left bracket. So usually you pick it up from here, you remember it, you come and start using it in the timeline. But some of them are not assigned any shortcut. You could use the option in DaVinci Resolve under keyboard customization. This is 15.2, is a standalone option. And here you are, you have a visual keyboard customization that you can use. Very easy to use, by the way. Now, let's look at the keyboard and let's look at the active keys here. You notice there are some keys that are dark gray. When they are dark gray, it means there is no shortcut assigned to the keys. If they are in light gray, like A, S, and D, it means there is a shortcut assigned to this key in a single command option from these menus over here. If you go to I and O, you notice there are two of them here. If you click on it, it will show you where the shortcuts are assigned. In the application, there is mark in. In the edit and media viewer, there is a mark in, the O the same. If you come to delete, you will notice there is 3 and 1 over here, there are 4. And here you are, you have 4 places where the delete key can work. You can also add a control. So now we're looking at control delete, and notice there are no shortcuts assigned. If I select V, you will notice now in control V, I have paste twice. This means that the control V will work in these two selections, okay, in the timeline and the whole application. If you go to B, for example, there is razor and previous. Of course, we're talking about control B. You can add the shift, and you notice now it has changed the keyboard. Control shift B, there is nothing on it. If I come to N, control shift N, it has new bean and new bean only. If you add the Alt, you will notice there is nothing assigned to the Control Shift Alt over here. If you take C, Control Alt Shift C is not assigned. Let's take, for example, the Alt V. It has paste attributes in the application and the edit timeline. Now, if you double click on the edit timeline here, you will notice on the right side it has jumped to edit timeline and showing you the shortcut Alt V. Now, this is very interesting because you can change it if you like. You click on the X, you look on your keyboard here, for example, Alt 0 is not used. So you will come over here and use Alt 0 if you want to. So now the paste attribute is no more Alt V, but it is Alt 0 if you want to. If you don't like your change, you can just undo. But also you can add another shortcut to this. We can add the same Alt 0. So now, paste attribute, you can use Alt V or Alt 0. Be careful when you are in the edit timeline. To remove a shortcut, just press on the X, and that's it, it's done. But there is more interesting now. You can search. For example, you want to know all the shortcuts that are related to trim. All you have to do is to write trim here. Notice it didn't show you anything because it's looking for trim and the edit timeline. There is nothing like this. So you go up and choose all commands. It will list for you all the commands that have a trim in the wording. If you scroll down history, you will find trim, clips by 35 frames, dynamic trim, trim and trim mode, and trim start. If you go, for example, for cut, you notice that it's listing all the commands that have the word cut in them, if there is a shortcut or not. This is because you have show all. You can choose only the assigned one. Here you are. These are only the assigned one. Okay. Or you can choose the unassigned commands, meaning all the commands that have the cut word and they do not have any shortcut. Or you can choose the one that you have modified. Okay, let's go back to assigned. And here we have all the shortcuts that have the cut. And of course, you can come over, add new shortcuts, remove the shortcuts, or change them. On the top here, you will notice there is DaVinci Resolve and it has a star. If you click on the arrow next to DaVinci Resolve, it has 4 options here. You can change the whole keyboard mapping in just one click to Final Cut if you are used to Final Cut, or Media Composer, or Premiere. But now I do not recommend that you do that, because you will lose some shortcuts from DaVinci, and also you will lose some shortcut from whatever you have selected. There will not be all the shortcuts for Premiere and not all the shortcuts from Resolve. So it becomes very confusing. I would say stick to DaVinci Resolve and learn the shortcuts. It has a star, meaning I did some changes here. I could save these changes or come over here, save them as a new preset, which later on I can import this preset. Now, if you're happy from the result here, you can click save and you will save the keyboard shortcuts. Here you are. If I say save, it will ask me for a new preset. I can write DaVinci Resolve 2, for example, and you can click OK if you want to save it. I will cancel this, it's not interesting. If you don't want to save, just click cancel, and it will ask you if you want to cancel the cancel or disregard the information. Disregard and we're back. Thank you very much for listening. I hope this was a good overview about how to customize your keyboard shortcuts.